Okay. Um, Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Creating Virtual Worlds panel. My name is Fitz, my pronouns are they, them, and I will be your host for today's panel, or today's second panel, rather. I would like to begin by gratefully acknowledging that Science World is located on the traditional and unceded Musqueam, Squamish, and Tsleil-Waututh village site of Sanok. Today we'll start with a quick introduction from our wonderful mentors, followed by a hosted discussion. You've done this before now. And of course, please feel free to put questions in the chat at any time, and we'll choose from those. Our technician today is Kimmy, who will be monitoring the chat. If you have any technical issues, she'll be happy to assist. We ask that you keep comments and just questions, anything like that, respectful and relevant to the topics being discussed. And now it is time to meet our mentors. So let's start by going around doing a brief introduction before we jump into the questions. Mentors, if you could just turn on your cameras and you will be pulled up onto the screen. Awesome. Okay, hello. Let's just get each of you to let us know your name, your job title, and the thing you love most about your career. So we can start with Shazzy.
Okay. Hi, everyone. I'm Shazzy, and I'm the Unreal Engine supervisor at WildBrain Animation. Some of the cartoons that WildBrain makes is like Snoopy, Lego Ninjago, Polly Pocket, Go Dog Go. And what I do is I use the tech behind Fortnite, and we use that to make animation and cartoons a lot more faster and interactive. And my favorite thing about my job is that I obviously get to work with cartoons, and I can kind of be silly at work while still building something super great and being super technical. It's a good balance of using both sides of my brain.
Kim, how about you go next?
Hi, my name is Kim. My pronouns are she, her, and I am a lead software engineer at Skybox Labs, and I currently work on Magic the Gathering Arena. My favorite part about my job is that I get to work on something new every day. I can go from working on graphics to builds to gameplay. Keeps things very exciting.
Awesome. Rachel, how about you go next?
Sure. Hi, everyone. My name's Rachel. I actually have two jobs. So my full-time job is I'm an engineering team lead at Thinkific. But my other job is I've started a business teaching kids how to code. And we teach kids how to code by making games like modding Minecraft or playing with Roblox. The best thing about my job, I would say, is I get to nurture people, and seeing people succeed is the best thing about both my jobs, actually.
Olivia.
Very nice to be here with everybody this morning. My name is Olivia. I am a co-founder of a startup here in Vancouver called Sanctuary, or here in Vancouver called Sanctuary. And my education is in engineering. The robots that we build are intended to support in dull, dangerous, and otherwise dirty tasks. So things that people maybe shouldn't be doing, helping to take people out of high-risk situations. The thing that I love most about my job is the coming together of all of these different aspects of research into one big project. So there's obviously the hardware side, the robotics side, there's the software side, the control side, and there's the economics and the social side. And all of these things come together into this project in this company. So it's a very exciting day to day, and I enjoy it very much.
Awesome. Yeah, so like I said, to all of you in the chat, just feel free to pop your questions in there. I will start with a quick question. You all have like such cool jobs, and they're in these very modern and sort of constantly evolving fields. What would you say is sort of the biggest challenge for maybe you personally, or for your company, or for your entire industry? We can do the same order. So Shazzy, if you want to go first.
Sure. So I would have to say, so using Unreal to make cartoons is fairly, new concept in media and entertainment, and a lot of companies are trying to figure out how to embrace it. But with that, it's new skill sets, it's a new piece of technology. So a lot of what I do is you have a lot of people who've been making cartoons for 10, 20, 30 years, and you're kind of telling them, okay, forget everything you have to relearn everything. So for me, it's exciting because I love teaching and showing like, hey, there's a new way to do things, and you can lean on some stuff that but we're moving to a new way of doing things. So it can be challenging because learning something new can be really frustrating, especially when you have deadlines to hit and you have to complete a project. So it's a fine, it's how can I be supportive to these people and show them and help them with their job and have them be excited about this new piece of technology and not have them feel like frustrated that they don't understand it. So I think as a company and as people, like with new technology, it's understanding that it's okay to be frustrated. It's okay that you don't get something, but trying to figure out how do we solve it? How do we lean on other people to learn and kind of get through those challenges?
Awesome. Kim?
Yeah, for me, I think the difficulty is trying to keep up with all the new tech. A lot of it doesn't have any documentation, so you gotta play around until you figure things out. But it's the fun time.
Rachel?
Yeah, I agree with both Shazzy and Kim. It's constantly learning all the new technology that's coming out. One thing I've learned in this industry is that change is constant. So you just kind of have to roll with the changes and kind of adapt as well.
I guess I'll echo everybody else in terms of changes and keeping up with news. It's a challenge with everybody so hyper connected these days, what to really focus on and use your attention and energy to absorb and learn versus the things that maybe are not as important. In regards to the hardest thing, or a challenge rather, that we are facing, the type of thing that we're building, this robot, is a brand new category of thing. And so it is very exciting to understand what that means in terms of the world and the impacts. It's an evolving and everyday excitement, I would say.
Yeah, totally. Okay, so I'll just get some questions from the chat here. Very great questions coming in. I guess I'll just combine some of these into sort of like, how did you start out with your jobs? Was there anyone specific who sort of inspired you? Was there something that happened, like maybe a project that you worked on? Just sort of, yeah, like how did you start out in your careers? Let's do same order again.
Sure. So when I was little, I loved to draw. I actually wanted to go to art school. That was like the kind of plan, but it didn't quite work out. And I figured, Disney, Pixar, they use computers, which means they need engineers. So I'll study computer science and I'll figure out the path after that. So I kind of stuck to that. And once I started taking, coding classes as it related to graphics, and I started seeing all the visual stuff and I started piecing the parts together, I knew I was kind of on the right track. And then when I was in grad school, I applied for an internship at Nickelodeon. And in my interview, they asked me if I knew Unreal. I was like, yeah, totally. Had never used it before. So learned on the job, got, someone took a chance on me at Nickelodeon, and I was there for 4 years. So I learned Unreal, and obviously now I'm building pipelines with it. So it totally worked out.
Yeah. For me, when I was in high school, I went into an IT course, and we learned Lego. We learned how to program Lego Mindstorm robots, as well as some Visual Basics, where we made some games. And I got super into it. It's like the one thing that I really enjoyed doing. And I knew from then that this is kind of what I want to do, just do logic puzzles all day. And then I really like video games, so I mashed them together.
For me, it was weird because I actually wanted to go into chemistry when I went into college, but then I took a course in computer programming and found that I really enjoyed it. And it wasn't really something I was thinking about until I took this course. So once I took this course, I found that I really enjoyed computer programming, and that kind of launched my career in programming. And then I guess recently, like I've been doing a lot of volunteer with Hour of Code or Girls Who Code, and that's kind of how I fell in love with teaching kids how to code. And that's where I started thinking about doing my side business, where we teach kids how to code.
Very cool stories. I was in engineering, the program in university. I took my first coding course in the first year, an introductory coding course. And as you've heard already, I loved it and committed to it. I combined it with biomedical engineering in my undergrad and had an interest and passion in all the things that were going on in the body in general, but in the mind in particular. And it really came to a head in taking a yoga teacher training course almost 10 years ago now. And I had an epiphany one day, or rather kind of a door opened for me, an exploration, a path that I wanted to take to further my understanding of what was going on in the mind during meditation from the perspective of an engineer, and the bioelectricity courses that I'd taken in my undergrad. And that launched me down this new path of wanting to understand human intelligence from an engineering perspective.
Very cool. Yeah, so sort of considering how you started out and sort of the age of, I'm going to assume most of our viewers here, do you have any sort of advice for someone in elementary school, like circa 12 years old? Just like both like advice for like skills to build, stuff to get into, just anything like that?
Yeah, so I'll say I did not start programming until college, so I wasn't really good at computers or anything like that before, but I think I was always like curious, and I liked making stuff and building stuff, and I tried a bunch of different things. So I think like when you're young, you know, if you're not sure about engineering or any of that route, like if you're curious about building or just like trying different things to figure out where you're interested, because you can apply computer programming to anything. Like if you're passionate, like we're all in different fields, but even like medical or fashion or culinary or gardening, like you can apply it to anything. So I think finding the thing that excites you, and then seeing if you're interested in engineering, like how you can combine those two and make, you know, something special for yourself.
Yeah, I think Shazzy definitely said it really well. Staying curious, trying out new things all the time, because you have lots of time when you're younger to make mistakes. And then, yeah, just stay curious.
I would say learn how to learn. That's one thing I kind of had to figure out how to do, I guess, like as I went into programming, just learning how to learn new things. Yeah.
I'm going to echo the points around curiosity, this continued exploration. One of the things that I like to reference in this space is this idea of opportunity and luck, like the fortuitous things that occur that end up marking big changes or big turns in a life, and thinking about it as like a landscape. So you're trying to maximize your luck or your opportunity landscape, and you can do that by this exploration and this curiosity and this learning, reaching out and speaking to people, understanding what they do in their jobs, paying attention when you walk down the street. Like it's all of these things come together and just broaden the number of opportunities that you might come across.
Definitely. I mean, yeah, like I've said, and like people in the chat seem to be echoing, your jobs are all really, really cool. So what's sort of maybe your favorite project that you've worked on, or sort of the coolest thing you've designed? Just something that really got you excited about being in your industry.
I would have to say I'm going to do two, because one was when I was at Nickelodeon. We would do a lot of motion capture, which is wearing like those body suits that track your movement and puts it onto a character. So there was a lot of fun times where I got to be like a 3D SpongeBob and like dancing around and stuff like that, which I like, that always was like the silly moment where there was so much cool tech happening. And then recently at WildBrain, we just completed an episode for Lego Friends, which was a really cool opportunity because I grew up playing with Legos, and like actually now getting to work on a piece of animation using a new pipeline and it all kind of coming together was like a really proud moment to like finally deliver something that everyone can watch.
Yeah, for me, I worked on an indie game that I got to be part of the design decisions as well as the only programmer. So it made a lot of learning opportunities because I had nobody to help me, which was really fun for me. And then I actually got to release it, and releasing something to the wild that was your passion project is a very exciting time. Also very nerve-wracking, but it's really fun.
I would say for me, I got to work on this mesh technology. So mesh technology is where you can connect to other computers without using the internet, basically. And I was helping work on mesh technology that connected phones together. And it was just a very industry that I worked in the past compared to all my previous experience. So that was really fun.
This is an ongoing project, but I love working in the space of the cognitive architecture development. So if you think about the robot and then you think about the software that's behind the scenes that runs the robot, we use this term cognitive architecture, which is sort of bio-inspired in the sense of human cognition, and it's got all these different components and modules. So evolving existing modules and developing new modules is a very exciting and fun part of what I do.
Awesome. Yeah, so we are already running out of time, sadly, but maybe as a quick outro question, if in maybe a sentence or two, you all just want to say sort of what the most surprising thing about your industry was, like if someone was getting into it, like what sort of you would tell them, or also just like what surprised you when you got into it.
I think what surprised me the most is like, especially when you watch like cartoons and stuff, it's like you don't see any of the behind the scenes. You don't really know who's making it. And then now being on that side is that like, oh, it's just a bunch of humans working together. And like, you know, everyone has their own quirks and their uniqueness and their own flaws, but we all like come together to work on it. So I think like going in, it can be super intimidating, but like at the end, after you've worked on it together, it's like these people are like your friends and your peers, and like it's just people making stuff, you know. It's like it takes a little bit of the illusion away, but it's also really comforting that it's like, oh, like these are just people that I know in my day-to-day, and we're making something super cool together.
The thing that surprised me the most was how long it takes to actually make a video game. Of every single part and polishing everything, it takes years and so much work.
For me, the thing that surprised me the most was how creative programming can actually be. You would think that, telling computers what to do, like it's very straightforward, but there's actually quite a lot of creativity that comes with programming certain things.
Following on Rachel's comment around creativity, that is the aspect that was very surprising to me as well in regards to the robotics and AI industry is a lot of these folks, you kind of expect them to be very focused on one specific area, but actually they know, it's stuff about robots, stuff about AI, but also all of these other things that they're doing in their life that allows them to bring into their work this creative aspect. And having lots of those things to inspire you in your work is a really interesting way to make big impacts in your projects. So I found that exciting.
Yeah, I mean, so that's it for today. We've sadly run out of time. We'd just like to thank everyone in the chat for joining us today. Hope you enjoyed and learned a lot. Thank you to our amazing mentors for sharing their time and their experiences. To all of you in the chat, if you could just return to the main stream in the lobby for your next activity. And to the mentors, just thank you very much again.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.